Good morning, everyone. The Chief Executive will first speak before answering questions. When you ask questions, please don't ask more than 2 questions. Chief Executive, good morning, everyone. We've just passed the first quarter of 2024. We see that there is another expansion of our economy. It covers 3 areas. First, mega events has caused more economic activities. In the weekend past, we've seen a very warm response from Rugby Sevens. The tournament lasting 3 days has attracted over 100,000 people, an increase by about one-third. Visitors from New Zealand told us that they made the trip specifically to see Rugby Sevens, and they will spend about $20,000. And there are also fans from various places. And they said that Hong Kong is the king of Rugby Sevens. Bar owners said that Rugby Sevens increase businesses by about 20 to 30%. They are bar owners on the Hong Kong Island. Some bars said that they have registered an increase in businesses by about 40 to 50%. There are many concessions and special deals launched. Businessmen are very happy with the situation. Last month, we have Art at March. There were 12 events covering exhibitions, fairs, the entertainment expo, cultural summit, etc. Some of these events lasted for over a week. The total number of turnout exceeded 4 million people. Art Basel, for example, has attracted 75,000 visitors. Various galleries have recorded very satisfactory businesses. Some gallery owners said that on the first day, 80% of the art pieces have been sold. Organizers of exhibitions said that these events have shown to the world that Hong Kong is a very vibrant city, connecting to various places of the world, and is a very good platform to showcase various aspects of Hong Kong. We have the Complex Con, which is the event that came from America, and it's the first time that it takes place outside America. Over 3 days, it has attracted over 30,000 people from the mainland, Japan, Singapore, Korea, and America. These are trendsetters. In March, we've also seen the financial mega events. A number of events took place in Hong Kong, including Wealth for Good in Hong Kong Summit, Giving to Amplify Earth Action, One Earth Summit, as well as the Global Investors Symposium held by Milken Institute. We have shown that Hong Kong is a perfect platform for these events. In April, there are a number of expos and conferences taking place in Hong Kong, including the Spring Lighting Festival, Digital Economy Summit, as well as INT Summits. The exhibition industry benefit from this, but they're not the only group that benefits from the events. There will be businesses for the catering sector and many other sectors. The capacity for Hong Kong to receive visitors is further enhanced. In turn, this will help with the recovery of various businesses and trades. At the end of last year, the capacity of the Hong Kong airport has reached about 70% pre-COVID level. We reckon that we will soon return to the full level of pre-COVID level. And there has been an increase by 7.6% of number of hotel rooms, over 90,000 rooms. In the first quarter of this year, we have received an increase of about 5% of visitors. Year-on-year comparison, where the number of visitors has increased by 150%. There has been 11 million people who have visited Hong Kong. Visitors have changed their consumption behavior. They don't just come to Hong Kong to shop. I'm glad to see that various sectors, including those in the tourism sector, those in the catering sector, have changed their mode of operation to cater for the change in consumption behavior. They've also come up with new ideas. Say, for example, the Hong Kong Development Council organized a tour for Korean visitors, combining yoga, hiking in one. And there is a egg tart shop that's owned by influencer on the internet. Is very well received. There are many restaurants that have queues waiting outside. Some shopping malls offer parking concessions as well. I'm glad to see that the different sectors have leveraged the advantage of these activities and offer different deals. There are itineraries covering dim sum eating, taking the tram. There are also tours taking visitors to the recent celebration activities of novelists. The different attractions have seen many different new elements. There are themes covering Leslie Wong, Anita Mui, and Bruce Lee. Some deals use street food as their selling points. There are also some others that showcase Hong Kong's street culture. We have launched various subsidizing schemes to help the trade. In just 3 months, we have received 1,600 applications for these funding schemes. Hong Kong people are smart. They are flexible. They make changes to cater for the change in trend. Hong Kong people are known for their cleverness. They will very surely find new growth points. There are golden opportunities arisen from national development. There has been a target set for at about 5.6% for GDP growth. That has given us strong support. According to the National Statistics Bureau, they said that for PMI in March and non-manufacturing commercial indices have registered an increase by about 50.8 and 53%. So these indices show that they are expanding. For the integrated production index, it has increased to about 52.7. Under one country, two systems, Hong Kong has an advantage. We're well connected to the world and to the mainland. Hong Kong should play its role as a super connector and super value adder. We need to seize upon the opportunities given by our country's development towards high quality. Next, I would like to talk about the Paris Olympics. I'm sure you all know that Hong Kong athletes are training for the opening ceremony on the 26th of July and the Paralympics that will open on the 28th of August. Hong Kong athletes have won 15 places for the qualification to take part in the Paris Olympics and 12 places under the Paralympics. I'm sure that there will be more places secured in the future. I'm glad to announce that we have successfully obtained the broadcasting right for Paris Olympics and Paralympics. We would like to make it possible for members of the public in Hong Kong to watch various games at the Paris Olympics and the Paralympics. and they can cheer for Hong Kong athletes. And the CSTB has made agreements with 3 television stations, that is TVB, View TV, as well as Hoi TV. Details will be announced later. 3 years ago, that was the Beijing Olympics. It was a time when we were hit by the epidemic. Games in the Beijing Olympics were widely covered by various channels. People went out to cheer for athletes. They went to shopping malls and cheered. I'm sure you remember that very well. Hong Kong people's love for sports grows. The Hong Kong government's decision to purchase the broadcasting rights of Paris Olympics is for the enjoyment of Hong Kong people. We have taken into account the current situation in that television stations do not have the resources to buy the broadcasting right. And we've also taken into account the benefits brought by the broadcasting of games during the Beijing Olympics. That's why we've made a decision to work with various TV stations so that there will be a multiplying effect. We want to drum up a happy atmosphere to cheer for our athletes. This in turn will bring businesses. There are confidentiality agreements under the purchase of the broadcasting rights. This is a standard agreement that applies to all purchases by the IOC. We cannot divulge the amount involved, but I can tell you that is lower than the broadcasting right for the Tokyo Olympics and the Beijing Olympics, as well as similar purchases. So it's value for money. The broadcasting of games will enhance the love for sports. It will bring people together. It will also bring pride. The TV stations will receive additional businesses. Shopping malls will attract more footfall by broadcasting these games. Restaurants and shops will benefit as well. I thank the CSTB for their endeavors so that members of the public can enjoy the games at home, in shopping malls, in restaurants, bars. Hong Kong people can cheer for athletes. They can share the joy and pride of athletes. It will be a very good time for everyone in Hong Kong. Thank you very much.
Now we open the floor for questions. Please raise your hands and please identify which organization you represent. Please limit yourself to 2 questions. The lady at the back, dressed in black. I'm from Now TV. I would like to ask about waste charging scheme. Only 20 to 50% of their households and buildings are using the designated bags during the trial run, and only 14 premises are taking part in the trial run. The participation rate is low, and there are views that people aren't ready for the waste charging scheme, and some LegCo members are objecting the scheme as well. How is the government going to deal with such a situation? Would the government give people the impression that it is forcefully implementing the scheme? Also, is the chief executive office using the designated bags? What is the reason for you not using the bags if you aren't? Also, we see that during Easter holiday as well as Qingming Festival holiday, people are traveling to the mainland from Hong Kong. and there is a wave of closure of businesses. How is the government going to attract people to stay in Hong Kong to spend money? There are going to be pyrotechnic shows in Hong Kong, and you mentioned that there will be the Paris Olympic Games. Well, thank you for the series of questions. Let us allow time for the Chief Executive to respond to your questions. On the waste charging scheme, we are clearly telling our people that the waste charging scheme is part of our law now. As we implement the law, we're thinking how we should roll out the scheme. So we launched the trial run. We would like to, through the trial run, listen to people's views and think about how we should implement the waste charging scheme in the future. We have experienced 1 week of trial run of the waste charging scheme, and we see that we've been collecting data from different people, including people's participation rate. Also, we are looking at whether the trial run is changing people's behavior and habits. Our goal is to reduce waste. The scheme is not implemented to charge people money. We have selected different premises for rolling out the trial run because they represent, for instance, public housing estates. There are also commercial organizations, restaurants, as well as government organizations and residential homes taking part in the trial run. Different sectors are facing different problems as they take part in the trial run. We hope that through the trial run, apart from targeting citizens who are the people who dump waste, we also want to help our frontline cleaners, property management companies, and we want to learn what kind of difficulties they are facing. Well, we have only experienced 1 week of trial run now. We hope that through collecting data and through the implementation of trial run, we can consult on participants on their views of the scheme. We will conduct questionnaire survey. We'll also listen to other people's views, including members of the LegCo. At this stage, I think we should seriously implement the trial run first, and after we've collected data and we've gained experience, we would think about what to do in the next step. We will clearly explain to our people after we've collected data and views what we are going to do. The waste charging scheme is going to involve all people in Hong Kong, so we will tread carefully and we will definitely listen to views from different sectors. We will definitely give our support to environmental protection. We are now trying to implement the law. We will look at our progress on implementing the law, our timetable, as well as what we are going to face and how we can roll out support measures. We charge based on the weight of the waste collected in government buildings. Apart from using garbage bags, we also look at the total weight and amount of garbage collected as we charge for the waste. And this is in line with other units which charge people based on the weight and amount of garbage collected. And this is to reduce waste. Some sectors may perform better. And for some sectors and industries, they need to change their habit as they take part in the waste charging scheme. We will see changes and reforms, and we have had experience in this. If you look at our overall economic situation, there was about 3.2% economic growth last year in Hong Kong. So we're seeing positive economic growth in the future. Our forecast is that our economy will grow at a rate of 2.5% to 3.5%. So from a macro perspective, we are continuing to grow in terms of our economy, and it is in line with other advanced economies in the world. Some sectors, they are facing a change of business mode, as well as people's changing consumption patterns, and they may have to change the way they do their businesses by implementing relevant measures. As mentioned in my opening remarks, I'm happy to see that a lot of businesses from different sectors are grasping or well aware of this change. And I believe that our businesses are able to cope with this change and come up with successful business models. Different businesses are going to thrive as they cope with the change, and I'm sure our various sectors will be able to enhance their competitiveness to attract new businesses. We have been taking forward different work to attract visitors. We've been in talks with the central authorities on how to promote economic development in Hong Kong. We've been discussing what kind of measures we can roll out. And our communication in this regard has been smooth with the central authorities. We will make announcements if we are going to roll out new policies. We have been introducing new attractions. As mentioned, there will be new tourism itineraries. We are adding new elements to the traditional model. So I encourage any innovative and creative attempts. For instance, on the 1st of May, during the Labor Day Golden Week, there will be a pyrotechnic show to attract tourists. There will also be drone shows. While the government rolls out these shows, various sectors will have to seize the opportunities to attract new business. As mentioned, during Hong Kong Sevens, apart from bars and clubs, different restaurants and eateries rolled out new discounts to attract patrons, and this helped boost business growth. So we have to be flexible, and I'm confident that we can be flexible. We've been seeing changes, and as a matter of fact, from a macro perspective, we've been seeing economic growth. But from a micro perspective, businesses should also change their way of doing businesses to cope with the change.
Next question, please don't ask more than 2 questions. The reporter at the front in white.
2 questions from RTHK. So the first question is about the waste charging scheme. So just follow up on the comments from Lo Man-tun. He said yesterday that the government should consider postponing or even scrapping the waste charging policy after the trial. He said it's an impossible mission and the controversy may be wasting our energy. So what do you make of his comments? And second question is about the Patriotic Education Working Group that was announced yesterday. So what are what are the criteria for choosing the members of the group? And can you tell us how will the authorities assess its performance in promoting patriotic education? Thank you.
I think we have made the government position on wage charging very clear. It is already the law of Hong Kong, so the government has to think of a proper way to implement it, to take it forward. We have launched a testing scheme to test its implementation at 14 locations, comprising different characteristics, including government buildings, commercial buildings, catering businesses, care homes, and also public estates. The purpose is to collect the data as to the participation rate, the overall supporting facilities and steps that needs to be considered if we are to take forward the waste charging scheme. We are serious about doing this test to ensure that we have collected sufficient data to let us decide how to take it forward. We will be collecting views from participants as well as different sectors. Of course, we will listen to opinions of the public because the wage charging scheme is going to affect the whole population of Hong Kong, 7.5 million. Everybody, of course, will have their own opinion about the wage charging scheme, its implementation process, its pace, and also the peripheral facilitating and supporting facilities that need to go hand in hand. So we will be listening to views. Legislators' opinions are also important because they do represent a lot of citizens. But everybody has their own opinions. But the government position remains clear. We want to ensure that we apprehend and comprehend the real situation fully, so that we decide the way forward. We will announce our decision once we have come to that stage. We have already indicated that by maybe May or June, we will be making that decision and making an announcement. So I think we should give time to this trial scheme and do contribute your opinions. We're happy to listen to all the possible views and eventually take everything into consideration as to decide what we will do in the next step. Regarding patriotic education, it is already in my policy address, and I think patriotic education is important because our integration into our country's national development is a very important opportunity for us to grasp the development potentials for Hong Kong. Secondly, it is important for us to know our root and our culture, our history, and also the contemporary developments of our country. All these will add to not just successful development or personal pursuit. It will also enrich the general values and culture of Hong Kong, because I think knowing our history, knowing our culture, and knowing where we come from and how we come to this stage is important. Different places have different historic background and also different developments. So it is important that through patriotic education, we become a united family, sharing more consensus and sharing more common values. And this is important. We have this steering group on promoting the Constitution and also the basic law education. Under this steering committee, we have set up different working groups. And one working group which has just recently been set up is on patriotic education. We pick up members based on their knowledge in regard to, first of all, our country's history, our country's culture, and their passion and love for the country. Because I want them not just to be the workers, I want them to be the leaders. I want them to radiate their knowledge and passion onto those that we want to educate. It is important for them to not just having good knowledge, but then they are keen to do their job, so that they will think of different ways to approach this subject of patriotic education. But the areas include, first of all, education for the teaching staff and education for the students, because this is the most important area. We want the new generation to really appreciate our Chinese culture, our Chinese history, and also the contemporary developments of our country. And we also want to organize activities with different sectors for the students and for the teachers. This includes inter-school activities, probably some competitions, some exchanges, some workshops, and maybe some quiz. So it will be up to the working group to design and recommend different methodologies and activities to the steering committee. Then, of course, I will be asking for a certain number of activities to be conducted. This, of course, will be decided by the steering committee. But what is important is the commitment and passion to do it. Of course, it will be important to look at quantity, but what I'm after more will be the quality of the education. Because after all, it is the passion, it is the love that we want to create and promote in the whole exercise. Thank you.
時間關係咧，我哋解答今朝最後一位記者。
We'll take the last question of today. The reporter in white at the back. Good morning, I'm from Singtao. My first question is about Paris Olympics. Its broadcasting right is slightly different from the broadcasting of Tokyo Olympics, because there is a time difference of 6 to 7 hours. So it may not be prime time when the games are broadcast. So it will affect the response of the general public. It may not be comparable to the Tokyo Olympic Games. Have you considered that they may not achieve what you have in mind? It will be a waste of money. And this is the second time when you purchase broadcasting right will become something regular. Another question. CE, you just mentioned about various mega events and the sevens. Last month, there was a golf tournament. Yesterday, the Golf Association shared their experience. They lost 32 hectares of land, so some events could not take place. Will you take that into account? And have you assessed the economic benefits brought by the golf tournament last month?
We face different problems during different Olympic Games. For instance, last time, we also had a time difference with Japan when the Tokyo Olympics were staged. The question is how we're going to weigh the positive and negative impacts brought about. Last time during the Tokyo, positive impact brought to us. And after the broadcasting of Tokyo Olympic Games last time, we see that there is high expectation from our society because everyone felt the joy. I believe people have expectation on the Paris Olympic Games after the Tokyo one. Indeed, it would be more difficult for us to promote the Paris Olympic Games this time because of the time difference. However, I believe different sports fans, for instance, those that support the World Cup, will find the ways to support and promote different games. We also told TV stations that they should help with the promotion. For instance, they will help broadcast the games. They will broadcast the games live as well as after the games. What matters is that people in Hong Kong will be able to watch the games. We place importance to final games, especially in which Hong Kong athletes participate in. I'll give the opportunity to all of us to help take part in the promotion. And as I said, it is value for money compared to Tokyo Olympic Games, as well as the price paid by the broadcasting stations in the past. The price that we are paying this time is much lower. As we collaborate with TV stations, we ask them to broadcast certain games for a minimum number of hours. And we also ask them to broadcast a minimum number of games. We'll also make use of different channels, for instance, social media platforms, to help with the promotion. During the Tokyo Olympic Games, we did less in this regard, but this time around, we will strive to do more. We will try to step up promotion and publicity as much as possible. I believe our broadcasting stations or TV stations will help roll out new ideas as well. Also, we're not trying to change the mode of competition as TV stations or broadcasting stations bid for the broadcasting rights. You mentioned about the golf course. The return of the 32 hectares of land has to be returned to the government, and this is a decision made a long time ago. And the Fanling Golf Course is welcomed to borrow the 32 hectares of land from the government if they need it for staging activities or events. The LIV Golf Tournament was a success. I also see that during the tournament, the 32 hectares of land helped the organizer in holding the games and provided back-end support to the organizer. While the golf tournament was a success, we see that the taking back of the 32 hectares of land did not affect the staging of the tournament. The SAR government supports any of this kind of mega sports events. So we applaud the success of the golf tournament. the position of the SAR government is clear. We intended to build 12,000 public rental housing units on the 32 hectares of land. But because of the challenges that we met in the environmental impact assessment stage, we are going to lower the development density. So we will definitely have to build fewer housing units. There is also a judicial review involved. So we will do this step by step. We ask for your understanding. We hope that you understand our position. Thank you. That's the end of the press conference. Thank you.